Hey everybody, welcome back to Prescription Bourbon. I'm DMC from Louisville, Kentucky. Today I'm going to be doing a quick hit review of Hibiki Harmony, Japanese whiskey from Suntory. For relaxing times, make it Suntory time. Alright, a little history here. Suntory whiskey was founded in 1923. They opened up the Yamazaki distillery. That is the oldest whiskey distillery in Japan. Japanese whiskey is most closely related to being in the style of Scotch. So the original distillery is a malt whiskey distillery. And, Suntory has several other distilleries in Japan now. In 1989, Suntory released Hibiki whiskey. It was originally a blend of over 30 whiskeys from their different distilleries, and it was originally released as a 17 and 21-year-old offering. After that, they eventually came out with a 12-year version and did have a 30-year release also. In 2015, they released Hibiki Harmony, which I'm reviewing today, and this is a non-age stated whiskey. It comes in at 43% ABV or 86 proof, and it is a blended whiskey, blend of over 10 different whiskeys made using at least 5 different types of wood, one of which is the highly prized and very expensive Japanese Mizunara oak. So, that particular oak is pretty rare and highly valuable. I apologize for my pronunciation of some of these Japanese sites and distilleries and sites up front, but more than 10 different whiskeys in this blend are made at the Yamazaki distillery, which is a malt whiskey, the Hakushu distillery, which is another malt whiskey distillery, and that distillery is much newer and it is built in a forest atmosphere, so it's a little bit of mystery and unknown about that, but it is known as the Forest Distillery. And the third Suntory distillery making whiskey in this blend is the Cheetah Distillery, and that is a grain whiskey distillery, so it's a column still. And so this Hibiki Harmony is made now with over 10 different whiskeys blended from the Yamazaki, Hakushu, and Cheetah distilleries. A lot of people may know the name Suntory from the Beam Suntory company. Suntory Holdings purchased Jim Beam in 2014 and created a new company, Beam Suntory, which is headquartered here in the United States, and it is responsible for distributing Jim Beam, but also it's a global spirits company. So, all right. So I'm excited to give this a review here, give it a nose, give it a taste, and let you know how I think of it, what I think of it. So, starting with the nose. Definitely get some wood. Can't necessarily call it an oak or place it as an oak. It smells more like, if you've ever been in a really old, fancy hotel or whatnot that has a lot of old woodwork, so it smells of old woodwork. Nice. A little bit of honey in the nose there also. Yeah, very pleasant nose. Definitely different than most American bourbon noses, so but that's very pleasant. Going for a taste. Cheers. Very nice. You definitely taste the maltiness on that. It reminds me definitely of a single malt Scotch. That's very pleasant. The honey that I had on the nose, did hit my palate right in the front of the tongue. So I did get some some slightly sweet honey flavors on there. Ever so slightly warm going down, not spicy. The spice is coming out now, though. The spice is coming later. It wasn't there at first. It didn't hit. It's mostly on the top of my tongue. So on the top of the tongue, it's it's a slight peppery spice, very pleasant. Yeah, I keep getting that honey sweetness, maybe a hint of chocolate in there. I love that aroma. That aroma is stellar. So this is definitely a nuanced whiskey. Has a lot of layers to it. Could probably sit here and smell it for a while and keep pulling more aromas and more flavors out of it and tasting it. So very nice, very enjoyable. So wonderful sip. I would highly recommend this. This is my first bottle. I've only had a couple pours out of it, so but it is stellar. I really like it. So definitely worth picking up. I think list price on this, from what I've read, it's come up. I mean, a few years ago it was $60 or something. I think nowadays it's up definitely in the $80 to $90 range. So it's come up a little. I picked this bottle up, I think, for $90. I've been looking for it for a couple months, and I found it in the store. And I got it for $90. A few weeks after I bought it, I saw it in another store for a little less than that, for down closer to the $80, $85 range. So I think if you can find it in that sub 100 price, it's definitely worth picking up. Wouldn't pay too much more than that. I know the Hibiki 21 year is famous for being in the Bill Murray movie Lost in Translation. So it was his favorite whiskey in that movie, and much sought after. And I know the price on the 17 year and the 21 year bottles is astronomical. Even the 12 year bottles, I think, are up over $800 nowadays, $800 to $1,000. So can't imagine what the 17, 21 year olds are. But for this one, non-age stated, I think they do say it's the blends the ages are all over the place. So even though it is non-age stated, there is some older whiskey in here, upwards of possibly 20 years. But it's obviously going to have some younger whiskey in there, though. Also probably down in the 4 to 6 year range. So excellent, love it. All right, hope you liked what you saw here. If you did, hit that like button. Leave me some comments down below. If you've tried this, if you've tried some other Japanese whiskeys that you'd recommend, let me know. If you've never seen this, I'd like to know that too. I know there's a lot of Japanese whiskeys out there, and this is just one of them. So anybody watching, if you're new to my channel, or if you've watched a few of my videos and you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It does help. Appreciate all my followers. Appreciate any feedback, and love to hear from you. Remember, everybody, all bourbon is whiskey, but all whiskey is not bourbon, and the best bourbon comes from Kentucky. Cheers. And Japanese whiskey comes from Japan. Delicious.
Wild turkey.
For relaxing times, make it Suntory time.